What's up guys, welcome back to the AI and Machine Learning series here on my channel. Today's topic is going to be very interesting, so let's get right into it. Imagine teaching a computer to understand human language, to read reviews, books, or even your tweets. That's not science fiction, it's happening right now with NLP. So what exactly is NLP? NLP stands for Natural Language Processing, and it combines computer science, artificial intelligence, and linguistics. It's all about how computers can understand and even generate human language. Every time you ask Siri a question or when Google translates a website, NLP is at work. It's used in healthcare to interpret patient records, in finance for analyzing market trends, and even in your daily life like email spam filters. It's making machines smarter and more in tune with us. Now, how about we see NLP in action? Our goal here is to use a data set of Yelp reviews to train a model which should be able to predict if it's a positive review or negative review. After opening Google Colab, let's mount our drive files onto the notebook. Then we're going to use pandas to convert our CSV file into a pandas data frame. Now let's take a quick look at the data set here. As you can see, we have a column for the actual text in the review and a column right next to it which tells us the number of stars the reviewer gave, from a scale of 1 to 5. Since these values should be numeric, let's mark a good review with a 1 and a bad review with a 0, kind of like a binary system. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use the apply method from pandas to label all the 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star reviews as bad, and the 4-star and 5-star reviews as good. You can change this up if you'd like, because some people think that a 3 is a good rating as well, but we'll stick with the original one for the example. Okay, and now it's time for text pre-processing. If you've watched my previous video on logistic regression, you'll remember that this means we're preparing our data to be ready for machine learning. First, we'll import necessary NLTK modules. Now, NLTK stands for Natural Language Toolkit. It's a set of libraries in Python designed to pre-process our text. Next, we're going to download Punct for sentence tokenization and stopwords for filtering out common words. I'll explain those in just a bit. Next, we're going to define a pre-process function to clean the review text. First, what it's going to do is it's going to tokenize the text. This means that it's going to break the text down into different tokens, with each token representing a word, a number, or something like a punctuation mark. It's useful in helping us break the paragraph-long responses in the Yelp reviews to small and manageable bits of text. Now, this function also removes stopwords. Stopwords are common words that are usually filtered out because they don't offer any actual value or substance. They're in the sentence to have good grammar, and that's it. Some examples include the words the, is, and in. We see a lot of them, but they don't actually contribute much to the meaning of a text, and so the function gets rid of them. The function also ensures that all the characters are alphabetic, and it's converted to lowercase for consistency. By the way, if you haven't seen this kind of one-line for loop before, it's called list comprehension, and it's very useful when you're trying to write neat code. Now, this function is then applied to each review in the dataset, creating a new column called processed text. This contains the cleaned and processed text. Now we're going to import a function called countVectorizer from scikit-learn. Now it's going to use something called a bag of words model, which breaks the text down into these things called vectors. The vectors are lists that count how often each word appears in a review. For example, if a review said, "The food here was very, very good," the words "the," "food," "here," "was," and "good" appear once, but the word "very" appears twice. Vectors are an amazing way to represent text as numbers that the computer can understand. Now, the vectorizer is then fitted to the data, which means that it learns the vocabulary of all of our reviews. Then it transforms the text, converting each review into a vector based on how many times each word occurs in the vocabulary. Let me run my pre-processing cell as well, which I hadn't run before. Yeah. Okay, now the next step is to import all of our tools from scikit-learn. So what we're going to do is first we're going to split our data into training data and testing data, just like we did in the linear and logistic regression videos. Then we'll create a logistic regression model. Remember, the reason that we'll be doing logistic regression and not linear regression is because we're doing classification here. We're deciding if the Yelp review sentiments are good or bad. So there's no continuous graph relationship. After that, we'll fit all of our training data into the model and we're going to let it do its thing. Now let's test how well our model actually does on these reviews. Even though we're going to check the model's accuracy anyway based on the entire dataset, let's just take a positive review and a negative review as examples. First, we'll use the vectorizer to transform the review text into a bag of words vector. Notice that instead of using the fit transform method, we're using just the transform method. Because we don't want the computer to update our vocabulary or review words, we just want to quickly test our machine learning model. Now, remember that we numericized these values. This means that we classified good reviews as the number 1 and bad reviews as the number 0. So we'll just use some basic Python conditioning to make this more clear. When I run this, it tells us that this is a negative review, absolutely horrendous service, and the food was too overpriced. But if we replace this with something like best food and service I've ever seen, the service was fast. When we run that, it's going to tell us that that's a positive review. So just from that, we can kind of understand that the model does have a pretty good grasp on the sentiment in the Yelp reviews. And now, for the final part of our project today, we'll be testing how accurate our model is. We'll test its predictions by comparing them to the actual sentiment in each rating, and then we're going to print its accuracy percentage. Okay, we ran it, and now, as you can see, our model has an accuracy of 76.5%. This is still really good for a basic logistic regression model with a rather limited dataset. Note that other models like transformers and LLMs, which stands for large language models, are much better at this because of their cognitive advantage. But don't worry, I'll save those for a future video. That was it for today, so please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to my channel, and commenting down below what your favorite part of this video was. That's it for this one. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.